Welcome back to Good Day. It's Wednesday, Knit Along Day, and I want to start by sharing some of your projects. Laura Benna sent us this picture of what she calls a granny V-neck sweater, and it's just beautiful. I love the rainbow kind of shading here that's going on. Just really, really cute. And this is what all the kids are wearing these days. It's kind of like a take on a T Swift, I think, sort of look here. So just beautiful. And check out what Allison Mills is doing for the holidays. She's making these crocheted ornaments, which are just adorable and in some really beautiful colors with some little extra little baubles on there. Very, very pretty. And she's always making something whimsical too, like this yak. Check out the tongue. He's sticking his tongue out there. Very cute as always. Allison always working on something really special. And I finished another baby hat. Yay! This is for my dear friend in California who is expecting her fourth in just a couple of weeks. So I was kind of up against it. You know, the clock was ticking, and I finally got this done and sent it out in the mail on Monday. So hopefully she gets it before baby arrives. Thank you for sending in your pictures, and we want to see what you're working on. So you could send them to me, whether it's something you're working on now or one of your favorites from the past. You could find me on Facebook, Amanda Fay, Anchor Reporter. And someone who is always creating beautiful things, Annie Johnson of Knit at Home, is here. Good morning. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me again.
So the last time you were here, I was talking about baby hats and having to do, I'm like, I've done so many at this point. I wanted to kind of do something a little different, and you suggested mitts.
Yes, little baby mitts are an easy way to go just from a hat. It's the same shape. You just change the size. Obviously, it's a little bit smaller, and then you can do some increases.
Yes, and I do need double pointed needles for the pattern that you gave me, so I have to get those. You know, I'm a little nervous about the double pointed needles, but I'll be okay.
Yes, I think you'll be just fine. If you can do straight needles, you can do double point needles, especially with the baby mittens. You're only going to have so many stitches on that needle. You won't have to worry about them falling off. Okay,
so that's going to be my next challenge. I have to get up the courage and get those done. So this is something that I just did yesterday. Speaking of projects, I worked on these, and Diane Phillips, all of you remember her, she gave me this pattern last year, and I made a bunch of these for friends and family last year, and I figured I've got some more people who I can make them for, so I did this up yesterday, and it really only took me about a half an hour to do. So how do you think? Did I do okay?
It's adorable, and I love how it's holding its shape so nicely. It'll be so cute on a tree.
Well, thanks. All right. So you are very busy this time of year, I imagine.
Oh, yes. My needles do not stop right now.
She was in the green room just, you know, knitting away, getting some things done. You have had a business for a number of years, right?
Yes. I always lose track. So I started in 2009, 2010, somewhere in there, so it's been 15 plus years.
But you've been knitting and crocheting for a long time. You started when you were what, in high school?
So I started selling in high school. I started crocheting when I was 7, knitting when I was 14, and then, yeah, in high school, some of my friends took notice of what I was making and started asking me if I would make things for them.
Wow, so you did?
So I did, yep. I started taking orders, and my biggest thing was, I was afraid to take payment up front, so I was like, I'll take your order, and I'll make it for you, and just, you can pay me when I deliver it. Yeah. And that was my first business lesson, was you always want to get payment up front while the interest is still there.
Yeah, so if you were out there, folks, and you're thinking, hey, I make some really great things, and I want to turn this into a business or a side hustle or something, that's tip number 1 that Annie has learned in her journey. And then, you know, when you were getting started, you were doing some little things like that for friends and family. Then you started working, at Michael's, so that you can get a little discount on your yarn, huh?
Yeah, when I was working at Michael's, I was like, oh no, I can use the Michael's discount to help with my yarn purchases. That was before they started doing a bulk discount, which they have now. You can buy in bulk of 15 skeins at a time. And that helped kind of with that profit margin, because that's the biggest thing with handmade. It's really hard to find that profit margin, as well as keeping prices low enough for what people could afford.
For people to buy them, yeah. And then you taught there as well.
I did, and I love teaching, and I actually found that's one of my favorite ways to connect with other crocheters and knitters, was kind of perpetuating the hobby.
So then you opened an Etsy store, right? And you started selling online. You have a website too?
Yeah, so I started selling on Etsy when everybody kept asking me, oh, you should sell this, you should sell this. And so I thought, oh, if I put it out there, they'll come, which is never the case, of course. That's always the lie. You have to keep marketing it yourself. But Etsy was really fun to kind of find that marketing research, see what would sell, what was interesting, also figuring out how to take good pictures and how to spread the word. And Etsy has really come a long way, and their marketing on their own is pretty robust now.
So what kinds of things do you hone in on that you particularly sell?
I really like making things that solve a problem, that are utilitarian, that are very simple. So I find a lot of hats, headbands sell really well. Not so much the scarves, which I find interesting because I think most of us
love
hate that
scarves.
cold neck. Yeah.
Yes.
Mittens are a really common thing that people are asking for, but I find that they're kind of harder to make. So again, if that's something else somebody is interested in making, I feel like there's definitely a market for that. Not many people make mittens. I also like to do knit baskets and coasters and washcloths. Those are always hot commodities.
So you mentioned, if you do that, this could be a good place for you to sell. What kind of advice would you give for someone who is thinking about starting up a business in terms of finding that niche?
I would say find what you like to make first, but then also finding what sets you apart. I think there are a lot of knitters and crocheters, especially since COVID, everybody has kind of picked up a new hobby. And instead of just starting, I would say see what sets you apart, so that way you can kind of market that, and that way more people will come to you for that difference.
Yeah, because they might you could find a knitted whatever, anywhere, but you want to have that unique thing that people have to get from you. So maybe find what that is. But you also said, figure out what you like to do, because you don't want to be working on projects that are just like, oh, I hate making these, right?
Yes, then you're definitely, you're kind of fighting yourself then if you're not making what you enjoy, so you really want to make it something fun.
Yeah, so maybe I won't do baby hats forever and ever. Maybe baby mitts will be my thing in the future. And I do actually like doing these little ornaments. I think for me, because they're quick, and so I could see, oh look, I did it.
Yeah, well, and I think those would be so cute for you to have. You could have a bunch of them on a Christmas tree to sell.
Very cute. And then you said learn how to take good pictures too. So
yes, pictures are huge, and also video is really big the last few years.
Okay, so people are like in the shopping kind of mind frame right now. Where do they find your stuff?
My things are on theknithome.com right now, and I'm also popping up at my last market in Sylvania. It's called Miracle in Maine, I believe.
Yes, and I think they're on the show tomorrow. So yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to be there. So yeah, and definitely with market research, find different ways to see people in person. You can get a lot of feedback that way.
Okay, very good. And probably ask people for help all the time too,
yes.
right?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.